Hi there. The Gonzalez Vidal Zambrana trap is in the Sicilian Scheveningen, and it's taken from the game of the Cuban GM Gonzalez Vidal against Vera Gonzalez Vidal in 2004, and it was also played by the Bolivian Grandmaster Osvaldo Zambrana against Gregorio Rodriguez in 2007. After e4 and c5, knight f3, d6, we have a Sicilian with d4, takes on d4, and the knight recaptures on d4. Knight f6 is met by knight c3 defending the e-pawn, and a6, a Najdorf, where white can play almost anything here. White here goes for the bishop c4, the Sozin variation. And then black plays e6. So we've got a Scheveningen, a Najdorf type of position by black. A prophylactic move now as white drops the bishop back to b3, and black plays b5, gaining space on the queen side, perhaps aiming to play b4. Bishop b7 might be coming. So queen f3 ensures that the pawn on e4 stays defended after, or if black plays b4, dislodging the knight on c3. So queen c7 is met by bishop g5 and bishop e7. White here castles long. In a previous trap, I think it was called the Arizmendi-Martinez trap, well worth checking out. We can see what can happen if black here castles. Extraordinary stuff. Here we're looking at a different move, knight bd7. So white places his h-file rook to e1 in the center, and we've reached the beginning of the trap. Well, in this very common position, both Gelfand and Karyakin and many others have played the solid move castles with a very even game. In fact, black could also play h6 here, and that's also fine. But many have been tempted to play this move, knight c5, which is actually losing. Hard to imagine by looking at this that black is lost. Black wants to perhaps trade that potentially dangerous bishop on b3 with the knight on c5. But here, white has a marvellous resource by playing the move knight to f5. And it transpires that in all variations here, black is lost. Let's have a look at some of them. First, if black castles, then we can expect knight takes on e7, check, queen takes on e7, and now e5, hitting now the knight on f6, which is pinned. So d takes on e5 is met by queen takes on a8, because when the pawn moved up here to e5, not only hitting the knight that's pinned, but the queen is going to have a go at that rook on a8. After bishop b7, queen a7, the queen's going to get out safely. He's hitting the, or perhaps potentially hitting the knight on c5, although it is defended by the queen on e7. But the queen can get out via b6 if any trouble occurs with rook a8. But in any case, if queen c7 now, then we could expect bishop takes on f6, g takes on f6, and knight e4, and white here clearly winning. Let's have a look at a different variation. After knight f5 again, if e takes on f5, then we can expect bishop takes on f6. And if now knight takes on b3, then a takes on b3, g takes on f6, knight d5 hitting the queen, the bishop, and f6. So the queen can move to a5, but now e takes on f5 ensures that the bishop on e7 is pinned. Very hard to defend. Perhaps the rook can move up to a7, but our queen e3 not only adds another piece targeting e7, but the rook on a7 is also under fire. So let's have a look at knight f5. What happens if knight takes on b3? Well, then we can expect a takes on b3. And now if e takes on f5, bishop takes f6. And if bishop takes on f6, then e takes on f5 is check. And the rook on a8 is also hanging. White is winning. Just have a look at one other variation, that if instead of bishop takes on f6, black tried bishop to b7 first, then bishop takes on g7, hitting the rook, and if rook g8 first, then bishop simply drops back to d4 with a winning advantage here again for white. So this has been a trap which has been called the Gonzalez Vidal Zambrana trap in the Sicilian Scheveningen. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.